everybody. It's 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, and I have a really special guest. And look at that dog! It's Kathy Benson and the doggy show and Shanda Coffee with Shanda. It's like you never know what you're going to get in a training like this. Anyway, wanted to just welcome you to 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. I know that you're just jumping on, you guys. Hi, Carla, Deanna. How are you? As you guys are starting to jump on, say hi to us. We love to see you. Awesome, great. Good morning, Christina. How are you? Okay, so we're going to jump into this because this Coffee with Shanda always goes so fast. It's like 20 minutes and we're done. First of all, what are you drinking? You're drinking coffee?
Coffee.
How do you like your coffee?
Well, interestingly, I started drinking the coffee with ghee, like the bulletproof. I don't do it all the time. At most 1 cup a day. I'm mostly vegan. Mostly, it's kind of a strange distinction. But every once in a while, it's grass-fed ghee. So, yeah, it's really good.
Nice. I'm drinking a mochaccino. So it's super good.
Yeah.
So it's like maca and hot water and hemp milk. I love it. All right.
Oh, yum. I have to try that. Okay.
I'll send you some. It's really good. Okay. Wendy's drinking water and high burst. Awesome. Good job.
Nice, nice.
Kathy's a big fan of high burst too.
I am.
Okay, so the reason why I've asked Kathy to be on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda is because years ago, I did a training that changed my life. And it's a leadership training that changed my life. And there's kind of Shanda before the training, Shanda after the training, and now I've enrolled so many of our clients at Heartcore to actually do the training, and there's pre and post the training. So Kathy is a trainer of the work. And I want to ask her a couple questions about the work because well, first of all, life is a journey of personal development all the way through. I don't think it ever ends. But there are some things in my life that have worked better than others. And this has been one of the things that catapulted me forward, the work, the training. It catapulted me forward. I went from being a wallflower, shy, intimidated, afraid of my voice. I never finished what I started. It's just really under optimizing my life. And I went and I did this work and it just put me on the map. Not only did it put me on the map financially, but it put me on the map emotionally. So Kathy, welcome to 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda. And I'd love to talk to you about Kathy because you're a trainer for the work. What were you like before you started doing the work? I'm curious.
Well, it's so funny because when you were just talking, I was like, oh my God, she was me. I was so shy, like debilitatingly shy. And I would say that, if I did talk to people, it was more rah, rah, rah than getting in deep or intimate, connected. On my enrollment card, when I did the training, I actually wrote lack of passion was one of the problems in my life. And you know me, that's not an issue anymore.
No, you're passion.
Yeah, I'm known for my passion. So, yeah, and I felt like I was really stuck in life. I had been studying psychology because I thought that I wanted to make a difference with people. And I thought that psychology was the vehicle I was going to use. And when I was studying it, I hated it because the model that I was studying was basically, if people had incidents in their past or they had the circumstances of their past, they could adapt from those, but not absolutely transform them. And I didn't feel, intuitively, that didn't feel right to me, but that's what everybody was saying. And I was studying it and thought that's what I was going to do. My whole adult life, I thought I was going to be, that. I mean, my whole studying life, I thought I was going to be a psychologist.
Can I just jump in here for a second?
Yeah.
So even when you're saying that, like, I know a lot of people who've done a lot of therapy, especially in the wealthier categories of life.
Yeah.
Every relationship they're in therapy, right? I'm back in therapy. Let's go back to therapy.
Yeah.
And so, but you're right, because there's this conversation that, I know that I have this. Like it's almost like they're claiming it and they've got to live with it for the rest of your life. And what you're saying is that just never felt right for you. And so you were on the seeking, you were on the exploration of what would actually break something like that through.
Yeah. And so in the second level of the training that Hardcore is putting on, I saw people letting their past, like literally breaking through their past, right? And they were being ways of being I thought they could never be. They were showing up in ways I thought they could never show up. They were letting go of things that they never thought they could let go of. I saw people looking younger. Their bodies showed up differently. I mean, it was like there was almost like a delineation point in the training where it was like people were no longer who they were. Really, I mean, even physically. And now I've done this 30 years. I've seen it again and again and again. So I just, when I was in the training room, I said, I'm going to be a breakthrough trainer, but I didn't think I could because I was so shy. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no way I can be a breakthrough trainer. And so it was just kind of a fantasy. It would be like somebody saying, I'm going to win the Oscar. That's what it was like for me. And I, just started doing the work. Right afterwards, I started going into all this work. And I don't know. I have to tell you that my life was good before. Like, I would have told you my life was great because I didn't know the difference between what life could be and what I had. I always tell people I would have been in the top 2% because that was part of my thing is to make sure I was in the top 2%. And I always got straight A's, but I would always do what I knew I was good at. I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was in my competence zone.
Yeah.
And I would never do anything outside of my competence zone. Well, now for me in life, those things outside of my competence zone are life. Like to me, that's living. That's where the juice is. That's where the breakthroughs are. That's where I contribute more. That's where I make a bigger difference. That's where joy is. So children do that naturally, and then adults start to play it safe. And even people that are very, very wealthy or very successful, it could still be within their competence zone. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily that they've gotten outside of their competence. So for me, that's a huge difference. I took an art class once, which I never would have done before the training because art wasn't my thing, right? And at the end, and I took it for pass, no pass because I didn't want to affect my grade point average. And at the end of the class, the teacher called me in and she said, I wish you would have she said, I wish you would have taken this for a grade. You are the most improved student I've ever had.
Oh my God.
And that hit,
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no, it's okay. So that hit me. It was like, oh my goodness, what if all of my life I've been playing it safe and the magic has always been in that not safe zone. And
Yeah.
I've been missing out on that. It was like the universe saying, hello.
Yeah.
So,
I have a
yeah.
moment like that in my life where I was actually in a school play and they put me as the lead in the play. And oh my God, that was like the worst thing you could ever do for me ever. I went to a Waldorf school, so you had to do these things. You didn't get an elective like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they put me as the lead in the play. And can you believe I can't even remember the name of the lead of the play because it was that devastating for me. And I got up and it was an outer body experience and I did the play. And then the teacher said, I really think you should pursue a career as an actress.
Oh,
And I
wow.
never touched that with a 6-foot pole, even though I felt amazing on the stage, total outer body experience, standing ovation. And then I just put that right in a box because that's not success. That's not me. I'm afraid. What if I fail? So it wasn't until I found the training that I started living outside my comfort zone as well. My neck was just outside my comfort zone as well. And, you're right. It's what got me up at 2:30 this morning.
Yes, me too. I was thinking, what do I get up this early for? Like, I don't just get up. I love sleep. I've got to tell you, I love sleep. I was like, there's no way I wouldn't do this. Like, this is, and it's a privilege and honor. There's no, right? All my dogs got to get up with me. They're like, what's going on? They're used to sleeping in. But exactly, it's like, I just feel, now there's this fire of passion and there's nowhere I won't go. Like, if there's something I'm afraid of, I know that's the direction to head in,
Yeah.
right? So do you remember I saw you a little while ago and I said that you and Ash have inspired me for intimate relationship. I've avoided that for like 3 years. Well, I jumped in. I mean, yeah. It's on the way. I mean, I've reconnected with someone from my past, and it's like everything in me would have said, "Don't do that," because history, blah, 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 blah. But I literally just know this is where I get to go and it's going to be amazing.
Okay, so this is a perfect example. This is what it looks like to live the work. It's like, it's not that you go into the training room and you come out fixed. It's like you go
Yes.
into the training room, you develop these skills that let go of your past so that you actually have the skills to continue to let go of your past as you
Yes.
actually
Yes.
walk through forging a new future. So that is like a perfect example because you practice this work constantly because you're training it, right?
Yes. Yes.
Incredible opportunity. But I think
Yes.
that's great. I love your vulnerability. We have a client, you actually trained her, Jessica, who actually did the work recently at Hardcore Leadership. And we actually brought the training in-house to my company because it's that powerful. Like it's just, you can't be an entrepreneur and not do this work. I mean, you're just playing a small game at that point if you're not doing this work and you're an entrepreneur. And so, or an athlete or just a professional leader. And so, so she goes and does the work and she's like a total like powerhouse woman, right? And she does the work and she realizes, wow, like somewhere along the way, I've like created this armor that prevents me from being vulnerable, right? Like the moment that you just shared about how I've been avoiding this for 3 years and then I saw this and then so I jumped in, right? So she's been wearing this armor that prevents her from being vulnerable. So she literally writes an email. I'm actually going to have her on next week. She literally writes an email out of her vulnerable, like true self, right? And the just like go for it mode. And I almost said something I can't say. You're not allowed to talk about the training because it's so deep. So she writes this email. She wakes up in the morning and she ends up earning $12,000 in her bank account the next morning because of writing an email that was real versus writing an email like that is perfect, right?
Yes. And just to be clear, because I was in a training last week and I declared to people I'm going to be in an intimate relationship this year, right? And my ex and I had already reconnected. But to be clear, I actually chose to take 3 weeks out of relationship because I had been in relationships all of my life. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take some time to figure out who I am outside of relationship. And then I swear when I saw you and Ash and a couple of other people that are around me that I'm like, whoa, they're having relationship work. I'm in. I can do this. I can have this happen. I don't care what my history is, right? So it's like, and it's been amazing, Shanda. Like, I can't even tell you. It's been amazing. I'm like, oh my God, who is this person? To me, what's great about this work is we can constantly reinvent ourselves. It's like, I feel like a brand new person from last week to now. Even the way I'm in my own body. I mean, there's always another level. And I'm loving it. And, the more I'm around this work, the more that's the case. So I think, like what you have set up is amazing because I think if people go away from, let's say, a mastermind kind of community, you're only going to be as big as you can be on your own or the people you surround yourself with. So for 30 years, I've had the privilege of surrounding myself with people who are always on their own edge, right? And so that's what you're doing. And this work just catapults people. I mean, to me, this is like the rocket ship. I've done a lot of work since, and there's nothing like this to me. Nothing. And I've gone into many places,
I can actually say the exact same thing, which is why I had over 100 people do this work last year, because of the fact that, it's like there's nothing that I've found that moves the stories out the way this does. Just nothing. I mean, I've read a lot of books. I've worked with shamans. I've done body work. I've done body talk. I've done meditation. I've done tapping. I've done it all. And it's all beautiful. It's beautiful. But it's kind of like building a foundation that everything else can work off of really nicely. Like none of that stuff is wasted. It's just implemented once you actually do this work.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you. What is your favorite breakthrough story?
Well, whenever I think about this work and how amazing it is, I think about this man that I did a training in New York City. And this man, so I didn't know at first his story, of course, right? People come into the training, I don't know their story. So it turns out he was a policeman on 9/11. He was supposed to go into the World Trade Center. And he wasn't there for whatever reason. I actually don't remember the reason he wasn't there that morning, whether it was a day off, there was something he was supposed to do in the morning, or he was late. I don't remember the reason, but he wasn't there. But his partner was. And policeman partners, fireman partners, brothers, sisters, it's like that's a blood relationship. They've been through so much together. It's family. So his partner went in and was killed. So you can imagine the survivor guilt and the I should have been there, and if I was there, maybe he would be alive and all that, right? And not just that, but being on 9/11, of course, later he came and started helping out. Seeing what people saw on 9/11 changed them. I know people that were changed forever and couldn't come back. And so he died that day, basically. I mean, he really, part of him just died and he shut down. Talk about armor, right? Putting on armor, because how do you have an open heart in a world where you see that kind of thing? So I don't know, it's probably about 4 years ago now, which is many years after he did the training, he wrote me this long email about I cry every time I think about this. He wrote me this long email about his life now. So I happen to know, I'm connected to him on Facebook. He's married to the love of his life. And she's the one that enrolled him in the training. So so they were together already, but the relationship itself was dying because the root of him was dead. How could he have an intimate relationship? So she, out of love, put him in the training. So they got married after the training. They have children now. They have 3 children. It's literally this whole constellation of life that was never going to happen. And he was just telling me how he got his heart back, his soul back, how he's alive again, how he believes in the good of humanity again. And that happened in a sense, that rekindling happened in a 5-day period. I remember watching his journey in the training, in the second level of the training, watching him come back alive again. That to me is a miracle. If somebody can come back from that, what story can't we let go of? Even really, people have had traumatic experiences, and I've seen people let go of everything. And that to me is amazing. But anyway, his story, because he wrote to me on Facebook, and the day I read it, I was like, oh my goodness, if I needed an affirmation of this work, that's it. And I still have it, of course, to this day.
Well, and I could say our friend Michael, who also trains in this training, and he also trains the practice level. After you do the training, if you want to know how to get to the training, go to heartcoreleadership.com, heartcoreleadership.com. And after you do the first 2 intensives, there's a level called practice, and it's where you actually practice the work. And Michael actually trains the practice level. And you've got to declare something big and juicy. And in the practice level, in order to graduate, you actually have to complete that juicy declaration. It would be how Kathy just said, I'm declaring I'll be in a relationship this year. I declared, just so you know, that I would be in a relationship within 90 days, Kathy, and I did that with Ash. So just playing a little game here on the declaration.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point in sharing that with you is, Michael, on the practice level, I've watched, first of all, because you do the work doesn't mean that life's not going to happen. I mean, you could end up with a child could still get into drugs. You could end up with divorce still. You could end up with any of those things that could still happen. It's how do you walk through life? And Michael does this, right? He walks through life with his heart wide open. He walks through life with his heart wide open. And even though things have happened in his life, I've watched that man still walk up and be totally clean, totally present, and totally it's open. There's no shutdown because any of that stuff has ever happened to him. So, you don't have to have a devastating story to go through this type of work. However, if you do, and you think that nothing else has ever worked or will ever work for you or someone you love, then I'm going to say that you're incorrect on that, because this can move it out of the way if you allow the process to work. So if someone was to do the actual work, Kathy, how would they get the most out of it? Let's kind of wrap up on that.
Okay, cool. I do want to say something really quickly, though. I think it's important what you just said. People could have a 10 life, do this training, and it catapults them. I have a friend who did this. His life was amazing. I mean, he had everything. I won't name, the wife, everything, right? Amazing relationship, amazing. career, superstar, millionaire, whatever. He did the work, it blew him away. So I think that is important for people to
Well,
know.
Lewis Howe did the work. He created schools
Yeah,
great out of it. Like a lot
yeah,
of us have actually done this work. So
yes,
in the one that we created, or the one that we host at Heartcore, is, I put it up on the screen. It's for athletes, entrepreneurs, or business leaders. Meaning that you can work in corporate America if you're a business leader. So it's all
yeah.
driven people that we're actually leading. We have a training coming up in March. But go ahead. How does somebody get the most out of it?
So for me, it's one, being responsible, going in there and being responsible that I'm committed to creating the value. Nothing's going to happen to me. And the great thing about the categories of people you just named, they play that way in life. They just need to make sure to play that way in the training, because sometimes you go into a training and you think, okay, do me, right? It's like, all right, I paid my money, do me. And so it's definitely 100% you're responsible. You jump in, you're the one that's committed to getting the work done on yourself. And the training meets you more than halfway. I mean, it's, again, I've seen that, over and over. And then I would say a really big at stakeness. So look at the area of your life where you really want to have a huge breakthrough. And I always tell people, be in the training as if you're going to have it happen in here, or it's never going to happen, as a point of view, because then you have a lot at stake. I live in Las Vegas, so I love the go all in. The distinction of go all in is freaking amazing, because so many times in life we're holding chips, right? Well, I'm going to hold these just in case it doesn't work. And what we call in the training is playing not to lose. So I say go in there and, go all in, because this is your life. And not only the group of people you just named as well has such an influence on other people. To me, it's mandatory in this day and age. I mean, look, we had another school shooting yesterday, right? We need leaders to step up and lead, right? So to me, it's not just about us. It's also, let's go all in, because the world is at stake. There's many, many places where people need our leadership. So it's like win, 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 win. So yeah, I think those are two of the main. Yeah.
I couldn't say it any better. So we'll end on that. But Kathy Benson, I definitely want to have you back in the near future.
Yeah, would love to.
The processes on Coffee with Shanda, where we take people's experience. So we'll definitely get back to you and rebook you over the next few weeks to be able to have you come back and really give people an experience of, like, maybe where is your next breakthrough, or an area of your life that you're selling out on that you shouldn't be selling out on. Now, if you're ready now and you're someone who wants to get the most out of this year, and you're someone who wants to optimize your life, then I'd actually recommend it. Put heartcoreleadership.com up on the screen. You can go do it. And I also have a finance plan that'll do it for you. And honestly, it's really inexpensive. So God bless you guys. And thanks for joining us at Coffee with Shanda.
Thank you so much.